go. So now you can see my lovely little desk here. I have all the things that we're going to do. This is the card I made yesterday. It's not even on its back. And I put it on crooked, and I was like, wow, I really want to change this up a little bit, but I digress, and it was on there really well, so I couldn't change it. But it's still really adorable. I mean, you see those trees in the background, and it looks good. And it shakes. Look at that. It's great. So we're going to do this card, and we're going to do pretty much the same colors, but I'm going to change the background trees. The background trees on this are the Lovely is a Tree stamp, and we're going to use the trees in the Winterwood stamp set. This is the Winterwood stamp set. We're going to use this tree right here. I mean, you could get away with doing this one, but you won't have as much of a look in the background like I did with this one. I have this, you can see the tree, but you can kind of see the snowy tops of the trees. It just looks beautiful. So we're going to go with this one and see how this one comes out. Since if you wanted to recreate this, if you have Lovely as a Tree, you can do exactly the same thing as I'm going to do with this stamp, just using your other stamp. But this one, if you don't have it and you wanted to get it and you wanted to create this card, it is available. Now, what I have here to do my white around is I ran out of my Frost Shimmer Mist paint, and I can't find what I have left. So I'm using this metallic pearl white. It's just simple stuff you get at the Hobby Lobby. I mean, it was $1.99 at Hobby Lobby, 40% off. So it's no price. It's a price point that's quick and easy, and it's not nearly as pretty as our Shimmer Frost paint. But when you can't find it, you do with what you got. So, and then we're going to be using a cellophane wrapper. And this is also available at Stampin' Up. Of course, I have purchased also from Clear Bags. So there is that. I have some retired embellishments that I'm using. They're from the Frosted Sequence. And it is snowflakes and silver, which I think look really pretty for winter. And being that it's, you know, everybody's been frozen tundra, I'm trying to remark on the beautiful portion of the winter wonderland that Texas had and Louisiana had. That's the only good thing about that. It was beautiful, but other than that, it was not nice. We're also using the Seaside Shimmer ribbon and the polka dot tulle ribbon. And we're going to use basic black cardstock. And you can use Balmy Blue, which is what this is, Balmy Blue. Or you can use Seaside Spray, which is what I'm using for the base, which is what this is. This is all Seaside Spray, believe it or not. And then our inks are going to be Seaside Spray, Night of Navy, and Misty Moonlight. I'm also using a StazOn so that it will adhere better for the stamped image. And we will also have a piece of Saran Wrap. Yes, Saran Wrap will be our paintbrush today to get around those trees. And I have my blends, which is what we're going to use a lot of, our blends here. So I've got my Seaside Spray and my Misty Moonlight and Night of Navy. So we're going to get started. I'm going to move my cardstocks out of the way, my ribbons, just so that we can get our image stamped. Now I have it kind of set up here. Oh, if you need a hostess code, this month's hostess code is here. I am doing a class tomorrow, and if you do purchase before the end of the month, which is Sunday, I believe, I will still send you a card kit, and I will also send you the PDFs for said card kit. You'll just have to watch the replay because you wouldn't have it in time. You mean you're welcome to watch it with us tomorrow if you get the order in time, but otherwise it will be on a recorded video. So I'm going to replace this because I don't like where it is. But I've got it on my stamp apparatus here, and I'm going to set this. I kind of want us to have a little bit of a bottom here. So I'm going to go a little higher with this, and I'm just going to put this right here, and we're going to do the hinge technique with this. This is kind of for the avid crafter with these hinge techniques and such. And I'm going to turn it this way so we can ink it up a little bit better. Move these out of my way. I'm going to leave one here so it gives me some leverage. And I'm going to use StazOn because I know it's going to work. The Tuxedo Black Memento ink may work. I have not been brave enough to try it. I don't know how it will work with the frost shimmer paint. So I'm going to use this because I know this works. So I'm just stamping this up. I don't need it to be really heavy on the tree because once we stamp it, we put some of the shimmer paint on. We are going to go back and stamp it lightly again. That's why I'm making sure I know exactly where I'm putting the paper. Notice my paper is exactly on the corners. So I know exactly where to put my paper back in when I go to do the second stamping of this. So I've got a good image here. There we go. Now I'm going to move this down, not 2, probably 3, to where you just, nope, you need it to be 4. There we go. That'll be perfect. So you're going to move it down 1, 2, 3 inches and set it into your 4th hinge. And then we're going to move our magnet, which mine are, of course, broken. You know, just goes to show you I have lots of love for my Stamparatus. I do love this tool. This has been one of the best tools ever. Better than the Misty for me. And I had a Tim Holtz at one time, and I love this much better than that because it gives me so many ways and so many different varieties to use this. Now this one's a little darker and it overlaps, but perfectly okay. So there's our background. And I'm just going to take this out. I'm going to leave this in here because we are going to come back and use this again. And I have it exactly where I need it. So we'll just leave it like that. I'm going to move it out of the way for a moment. And now we have this lovely piece of cardstock. This is Seaside Spray, and we're going to actually just paint our bottom in. So I'm going to, I left my well at the, in the house. Yay, me! So let me get something to use as a little well for some paint. Ah, here's one. I have 2 of them. I knew I did. Just thought I left it. Here we go. All right. Here's my little well. I'm going to put a little bit of paint in here. And if you think it's too thick for you, you're welcome to add just a touch of water. It will help thin it out a little bit, but I really don't need that. I'm just going to dip my brush in here, and I'm literally going to just paint it. I'm painting this white on this blue cardstock. Now we will add other colors, and you can go heavy. I wouldn't go any more above the trees. Now, if you use the Lovely as a tree stamp, it's got the lines, so it makes it look snowy. So you can put those kind of in here. This is all in how good you are at painting. And I'm not a really big, heavy painter. I do dabble in it occasionally, but I'm just going to put some snowdrifts, a little bit of snowdrift. And then we'll come in here and clean this up. So I'm going to leave that just like that. Nothing uber fancy, kind of looks like drifty snow. When it dries, it will look completely different. And we will put a heat gun to this, but we're going to come back in. I'm going to get some of this paint off of here. Really wish I'd have had a cup of water for this, but I will be all right. Okay, so now I'm going to take my saran wrap. And this is a really wonky piece of saran wrap. It cut and it doesn't matter. You're going to literally just crinkle this up. The more crevices in it, the better. And I've just got this little blob of saran wrap. Okay, I'm going to dip it into here. And I'm going to come into one of the other wells and dip it off so that it's not lots of paint. And I'm going to come in here and just literally blob it around my trees. See? And I'm going to keep doing this until I get a look that I like. Now, if you notice on the other card, it did kind of lighten up a lot after it dried, and that's okay. We can come back in. Little is better right now. You can come back in and add more if you like, but I tried to keep it a little heavier at the top and lighter at the bottom because, you know, you get snow more at the top than you do the bottom. And this was that pretty part of that horrible weather we had in Texas and Louisiana and Kansas. all those different places had all that awful, awful, awful weather. Now we kind of want to make sure that we're able to see some of those spots coming through. See how you can see those trees coming through, but yet you see that snow. So that's all you're going to do right now. You're just going to do a light layer till you get what you want, okay? And when we add color to this, it will blend out a little bit and we can add more. That's the beauty of this. You can add more, and you could actually even do your colors before you add this if you wanted to. But I'm adding my shimmer so I see how far my shimmer is going to go. Looks kind of cool, huh? So now I have paint all over me. I'm just going to kind of rub it in and wash it off here in a little bit. I'm going to take my heat gun here and we're going to dry this up a little bit. I'm going to move it off camera so you don't have to see that or hear it, although I'm sure you hear it. So I hope everyone's doing well. If you're here, please leave me a comment and let me know that you're here so that I can send one of these wonderful shaker cards to somebody today. That would be nice. Uh-oh, where did my thing go? All right, we're just about dry. There we go. We might have a few little drops here that are a little damp, but that's okay. All right, let me go back and try to find us again. My Stampin' with a Heart page just went crazy. I know I have a live here. Here's my live. All right. Okay, so if you're here again, please leave me a comment. Let me know you're here. I'm going to be sending out one of these beautiful cards to someone who comments today. So now that we've got this done, I'm going to take my blending brushes. I'm going to start with my light color. Actually, I'm going to do my light color last. I'm going to start with this Misty Moonlight. Cover up this stays on because we won't need it right away. We're going to do this after we do our dark colors. And we'll come back and stamp in there. So I'm going to take my Misty Moonlight and I'm going to turn it this way. And we're just going to get a little bit on these blending brushes. And now I've used two colors on this one. So you may see a little of the Night of Navy in here. And I'm literally just going to come in here and darken this up here. Now we started with a Seaside Spray cardstock. And we're coming in and blending this out with some darker colors. And you want to make sure you kind of get into the tree line. This is one of the reasons you might want to do it beforehand. That's entirely up to you. I like it both ways. The other way I did it before I put this on here. I did the blending before I put the white on. But either way works just as well, and that's why I'm showing you two different ways. And I'm just continually going over this with my Misty Moonlight. If you get a little bit on this of the paint, it's okay as long as you immediately wash it. Once you're done with it, just immediately go in and wash it. I'm going back in here as well into some of my dark spots or my lower spots, and I'm putting some of this in here. I want the insides to look kind of dark as well around these trees, but not heavily. I want all of it to have a little dark, but some of it's going to be heavier than others. So we're just going to keep blending this dark in. And now if you want it really dark, This is what we're going to do to get it really dark because, you know, that's nice. It's not lots of ink on there, but it's a darker shade. We're going to go in with this Night of Navy. And I'm going to use the same blending brush so I get a mix. And because we're going to a darker shade, it won't bother my ink pad as well. So now I'm coming in with this darker color. And what's amazing to me is when you mix these two, they kind of end up purple, which I was just like, wow, I got purple in here. How'd I get purple? But hey, that's the beauty of blending your colors. And you get to see all those different colors marry together. And I think it's just beautiful. So what I really want to do is get some of this on my edges. Not looking to make it all great. And I'm going to rub this out. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do a little of this dark again on the edges. Now you never want to go right to the card from here straight to here. Kind of want to blend it off and then blend it onto your card. That way you don't get blotches like I have here. I mean, not that it looks horrible, but you see my blotch. Now I'm going to actually do this. And I'm doing this on purpose because I want the edges to be very, very, very dark. Kind of like I would if I had a sponge dauber in my hot little hands. I would go around the edges with a sponge dauber. Pretty much the same basic idea. But that gives me that nice dark look. And I can come back in here with this. Kind of smooth it out. Okay, so it makes it look a little darker. A little more oomph. And I'm going to come back in with some more Misty Moonlight. Because, you know, we've got to lighten up some of those spots or kind of blend them in a little bit better. And that's where the Seaside Spray will come back in, as we'll add some of that Seaside Spray into this just to lighten this dark up if we wanted to. Add some of that in there again. And I'm just not even adding. I'm just kind of rubbing my blending brush back over it a little bit. There we go. Got some color added there. And you can see we've got our really light spots where it looks like some of the sun is shining through. Sparkling. That's where I'm going to add my Seaside Spray back. Add a little Seaside Spray, and this is where I'm going to pull that off and come blend that in there. Just gives it a little hazy look to it. And then I'm going to do the same thing to some of these other spots in here. And kind of go over my trees so they all look a little hazy. So there, I think that's good. I don't need to add more to it. This is where I'm going to come back in, go over some more paint if I wanted more paint and sparklies. And I actually think I'm going to go ahead and stamp my images again before I do more paint, and then just put dabs of paint on it. So we're going to come back to our Stamparatus. And let me get off some of this ink on here. The one thing about Stays On is it stains like crazy. And I left it open. Or didn't leave it open, I put it down. So now you see that I now have Stays On my Stamparatus. Don't worry, I have stuff that will make it go away. It's that lovely Stays On cleaner. But since this is going to be on the back side, you won't see it if it gets on my card base. So what I'm doing is I'm locking it down where I want it. Now remember, I set it here at the corner. Let me pull this up so you can see. I set it right down here at the corner, right here. So that way I know where to go and put this again. And I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to do my stays on again. Right here. Just do a little more stays on. And we're just going to come back in here and not heavily press on this. We just want a light color really over just our trees. I'm not so worried about my stems. See how it gives a little more impression on those trees? I like it, but I want a little more. And this is when it's good to have the magnets. That's very necessary in this. And you don't want to see your trees all the way, but I do think I need a little more in the middle. So I'm going to put a little more on this. And I just re-inked my stays on. Stays on, man. Whew. Kind of just want to go in this middle over here. There we go. Much better. Now we're going to pick this up. Remember, we went down 3. And we're going to do the same thing. Now, I only have to do these first 3 trees. But I am going to put some stays on the whole thing because I want to make sure I get good coverage. And I'm going to bring my magnet down so that we stay on point. Let's bring this one down too. There. All right. Oh, nope, that's not right. Right, there we go. Now we put them down. There we go. Now we're done with the Stamparatus. Don't need it anymore. My trees look fabulous. I've already stamped my tree for the front, so we won't need that again. So there we go. There's our trees with that background. I'll let this stays on dry for a second, and I am going to come back in with this paint and add just a little bit more of the paint to my trees. What you think? Quite pretty, huh? I think it's gorgeous. I mean, I just love. I wasn't so sure about this particular stamp with it, but I'm liking it a lot. Okay, I'm gonna dab off, and I'm just gonna kind of focus on my tops. And now when this dries, it doesn't dry as white as it looks when it puts it on here, which is kind of sad. I wish it would be a little brighter, but you know, it is what it is. You can't have everything, I guess. All right. I think that's good. I don't know what you guys think. It looks like a little frosty day. You could add and do this in purples, and I'm going to have lots of ink and paint all over me. I think this would look pretty with some purples, and I'm going to just kind of blot this a little down here too, so you see a little bit of this everywhere. Because that will dry up some, and it won't be that covered. There we go. I am going to go ahead and take a little bit of this paint and just put just a little bit more here. You could come in and you could have drawn with your stays on or a marker some lines here in your snowdrifts. That's up to you. You can make it as detailed as you like. Now my downline Kim would have done that. She is all about the seams. Oh, I don't know why I just did that. I need this one more time. We're going to do our tree that goes on the front. We're going to set that aside to dry. And we have a tree cutout right here. Now I did this one in Balmy Blue just because I wanted it to stand out just a little bit. I didn't want it to be exactly the same. I may go put some of the Seaside Spray on it just to kind of, I don't know, maybe we'll do some of this, where's the midnight? Misty Moonlight. Let's put some Misty Moonlight on the edges, and then we'll color it. This is all new to me. On the other one, I did the same color, but because this is such a shade darker, I'm going to kind of make this dark on the edges so it don't look so, or doesn't look so blatantly different than the rest of the card. Although we don't really want it to blend in just the same, so that's why I'm making it darker. So yeah, that looks good. Put just a little more of this color on here, and you can go right over the whole image. I mean, it's not really going to matter. And with this one, we're not going to re-stamp it or anything like that. I mean, you could if you wanted to. It does give it kind of a metallic-y look to it, which is cool. You could just sit and play with this. I mean, the steps that you do and how you do them gives it different looks each and every time. And your steps don't have to always be the same either. So every time you do it, it will be different. Now, I'm going to take again the rest of my ink or rest of my stuff, and I'm just literally going to dab on here, and not on the trunk, just around the treetop. Now, because I have an awful lot on here, you could go back over this. You could let it dry and re-stamp it to give your image more depth, but as it dries, it will be a little more noticeable of what it is and what kind of tree it is. All right, I'm going to dry this one to make sure it's completely dry. It is pretty much dry, but I'm going to throw it under the heat gun one more time just to make sure. I like to do the back side as well as the front side. It kind of gives it, keeps it from warping so much when you're using your embossing. Now I'm going to go trim this down so that it is actually right now 5.5 by 4 1/4. And I'm going to trim it down so that it will be at least 4 by 5 1/4. I may even go so far as 3.75 by 5, so we can see more of that background. Just need to find my trimmer, which is buried. I did go ahead and trim it 3 3/4 by 5. So I've trimmed this up a little bit to leave my room for sentiments and such. And now we're going to have fun. This is completely dry. We are going to slip it inside of a clear embossing folder or clear bag. That's all. Just slip it inside there. Make sure you get it all the way into the corner, just like that. And you're going to want to put whatever you want as your shaker. Now I'm going to see if I still have some of my, and they're right here, just a few of these left. I have, you know how you get these things in your purses and all those different things, the silica gel. Well, I'm going to add some of those to this. The one thing about silica gels is it will keep everything from, it will dry everything out inside, and it looks nice and shiny. And you can actually color these. So see, I've got just a few of those in there. I don't have that many, but you see that? And then I'm going to add some of these as well. And you can add as many or as little as you want. That's the beauty of this. You can put as whatever you want. Of course, you want to make sure that it all stays in this back corner. So we have some sparkly and we have some snowflakes. You can do as many or as little as you want. Now I'm just trying to use up some of the glittery stuff that I have. But these silica gels are like the bomb. I save them, and I actually had quite a few. I gave them away to a church, and then my dogs and cats kind of spilled a whole bunch I had. So now that I've got this all done and all of my beading is down here in the corner where I want it to be, I'm going to take this, lay it down on its side, and they all come with this lovely little clear strip up here, and we're going to literally fold this closed tight. Fold it tight, just like that. And then we're going to do the same thing. Make sure it's all the way back to the corner. And then we're just going to fold this over, and you can use Scotch tape, whatever you have to fold that over, and then you've got your front shaker. See? So I don't know what happened to my Scotch tape. So I'm going to use a touch of my heavy runner. This stuff, this is the Seal Plus. I'm just going to use a touch of it on the edges to keep this where I need it to be. Because this is going to, that didn't leave it. Wow, it didn't leave a lot. There we go. It's such a slick surface, this is not working. I thought it would work, but it's not. So we're going to do it just like that. And I need to find some tape then, huh? Shame on me for not having tape ready. I have tape at the big house. Well, not really the big house, the medium house, if that makes sense. I had tape for grandkids. We have washi. Washi will work just fine. This is how innovative you can be. I have washi. I never use my washi. I know my customer Brenda and Rachel would just totally die if they heard me say, you just don't use washi. What? What's wrong with you? That's their opinions anyway. So I'm going to take some washi here, and I'm going to pull this over, and we're going to just tape it down. And we have a lovely little shaker. See? How pretty is that? Now with this shaker, what I'm going to do, like I did on this one, is I've got some pretty ribbon on here. So I'm going to take my tool, and I'm going to just go across right here. Just cut it. And again, we'll tape it on the back. And because my other tape isn't working, it won't work to keep it down. So I'm going to put some of my other tape. Now you can't really use the liquid glue, wouldn't work very well. Here, not at all. It just wouldn't work. So I'm going to do a little of this. This is a regular adhesive runner from Stampin' Up. It's just a Stampin' Seal, not the Plus. The other one that I was trying to use was the Plus, which was what I was hoping would work. But it didn't want to work. So I'm literally just going to put this across here. Just like that. Just taping it like that. Actually, it's a little low for me, but that's okay. It'll be fine. Just like that. And I'm going to do the same thing with this ribbon. Tape it, cut it, and just run it right across. And I really need to make myself work in the screen so that you guys can see it. And we're going to put a little more, that's not the right tape, put a little more of this right in the middle. It's not in the middle. We'll put it right in the middle. and bring it around and do the same thing on the back side. Just a little extra tape. And I'm not adhering it in the center part because I want to put my bow. I want to tie my bow to this. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to take some tulle. Put this here where you can see it. And we're going to tie a ribbon. Or tie a bow, should I say. Doesn't have to be huge. I love this ribbon. I just hope they don't retire it. Because, you know, the new catalog will be coming out soon for June. That's only a couple months away. That means we'll be retiring some items. And I'm hoping this is not one of them. This is going to break my heart. I have a lot of customers that like it. And even if they don't buy it, they really like the look. A couple of my demonstrators really like this look as well. So you could either take this and tie it onto here, or you could just put your bow on. I'm going to undo my bow and tie it on so that I get this cool ribbon while my tree's drying up there, which I don't know where my tree went, but it's drying. It's somewhere and it's drying. Oh, there he is. He's right in front of us. I'm going to tie this up, and we can trim our bow if we need to. You could not even put the bow on it. You could just leave it tied, kind of a cool little tie across. I like bows though. But if I can't get my bow to work, then I just do a tie across, you know? Which is seeming to be that way with this one. So we're just going to do that. Make it easier in life. We're just going to pull this tight like this. And we're going to trim off here and here. And then we've got this other little piece that we can do the same with. And I'm trying to find the ends and the direction. So there we go. Now we've got just this pretty little tie. And we're going to take our lovely tree here. And I'm going to see where I want all of this. I kind of think I'm going to put him right here. No, we're going to put him back over here. Maybe nothing. We might just leave it just like this. I don't know. I don't have anybody watching right now to tell me which way I should go. I love this. This came out so cute. So, I don't know. Let's put it on the background. It's going to go on some black, basic black, so we can see that beautiful tree line. And let's see where he should go. I'm going to put him right here. Now, what I've done with him is I've done him with some dimensionals. So I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals on him. And he'll stand out from the crowd. And now, because you can't use the double-sided adhesive on this, it'll work, it'll hold it, but it won't rub off on it. So we're going to try it this way. I'm just not having any luck with this, am I? Not the time to have problems with the new tape when you're on video. All right, so that's not working out so well. And I have the tape caught in the case. This is one of the reasons I'm not fond of tape runner, There's the tape. Let's see if we can keep this from being in the case. Yeah, that should work. That's adhesive. It's not working. I don't know. Okay, it got loose, and I don't know why it got loose. Okay, we're going to try one more time. No, I'm done. I'm not working with that anymore. Sorry, guys. I'm not sure. We're going to use this one then. We're going to run the tape right here in the middle of this, and I just ran out. So that'll be that. So now I need a refill. All right, we're going to take our shaker part, and we're going to set this down right here in the middle. And I'm just holding it down so it blows out all that extra air. And there we go. And this is just going to go on top of one of your card bases, which is going to be 8.5 by 4 1/4, or 8.5 by 8.5 by 5.5, scored 4 1/4. Ugh, tongue-tied today. This is our card. Isn't it cute? I think I like my first one a little bit better. I mean, they both look absolutely gorgeous. Put whatever sentiment you want on it. Here's a shaker. Another thing you could do is inside, you could put your sentiments in there as well, and it would make it just as pretty. But I had difficulty. I don't recommend this bad boy. This is the second one they've sent me, and it's giving me grief each time. So I don't. Anyway, I will have to find a different adhesive. Could just be user error. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to take my little self with my painted hands, and I'm going to go get them nice and washed up. And for anyone who leaves me a comment on my post today, I will have it out on the blog, hopefully by the end of the day. And I hope you all have a wonderful week. And I will see those of you who are in my card class tomorrow, and it will start at 10:45 North Carolina time and 9:45 Central Standard Time. That way you guys can get there and still sleep in a little bit. So anyway, I will see you all tomorrow if you're in the class, and otherwise I'll see you next Wednesday. Y'all have a great day. Bye.